Hey guys, Happy New Year, Happy 2018. Today I'm going to review Lone Wolf by Jodi Picoult. And also I will talk about a little bit about my personal thoughts about euthanasia. I know it's kind of depressing for just starting the new year. And what my New Year's resolution is. To start off with the book again, one more time. I just finished the book today. I should have finished it. I only had a few more pages, but I had to work yesterday, so I didn't have too much time. But basically, the story is about Luke Warren, who is a wolf biologist. He's very obsessed with wolves. He does at some point go off into the Canadian forest to live with them for about 2 years. And a little later on in the story, it gives some reason why he enjoys wolves, how he feels disconnected with people, but more one with nature. But later on in the story, he gets into a car accident with his daughter, Cara, and basically that leads to where he's in a vegetative state. And the whole premise of the novel is basically, should he be taken off life support or should he stay on it? How this comes into play though, he's divorced from his wife and she married someone new. And she has other kids with her new husband. So she doesn't have a legal role in Luke Warren's life anymore. The decision comes from Cara, his 17-year-old daughter, who was with him at the time of the accident and who blames herself for basically him being in his vegetative state. But also another person comes play and that is Edward. He's living in Thailand. He hasn't spoke to his father for about 6 years. But his mother calls him, his biological mother, the one that remarries. And so Edward comes back down back to the U.S. from Thailand. And basically he feels, when he was younger, his father said he's the man of the house, that he wants to take responsibilities and so forth. But they had a falling out. You don't really know much what was said at the falling out. You do kind of at the end, but if you would like to read the novel, I won't mention that. But basically the premise of it is Edward's gay. And you don't know what's said, or what the father said, what he said, but it kind of makes you lead to that conclusion. Though Luke Warren isn't known or ever really mentions anything outside of his son about him homophobia or anything like that, tankling towards like a hatred of gay people or anything. So that the wife was a little confused on that too. No one really knows what they said. Anyways, as the novel digresses, it's basically a legal battle between Edward and Cara. Cara wants to keep him alive for as long as needed until he makes a full recovery, even though the diagnosis is pretty grim. Why Edward feels like he should honor his father's wishes because he put on his driver's license that he was an organ donor, and that he feels like he would be one to let go since he wouldn't be able to live the same life he once did, which was a very extreme, very woodsman-like type of lifestyle. Basically a solitary lifestyle, and it talks a lot about the family dynamics and how one thing can lead to the other. I thoroughly did enjoy the novel. I highly recommend it. I don't feel like there's any bad characters. I feel, I'm trying to figure out the words for it. I feel like all the characters are good at heart, even though a lot of them have flaws, but it's not extreme flaws. Most of them are just like natural human flaws, be it from one character to the other. And for this book makes it feel like they're very real, like you are sitting there in the room and just watching this play out or imagining how it could play out. The descriptive of the scenes, the characters, the dialogue, all very, very realistic. There's no fantasy or anything to this novel, but it's very good. It makes you see, it talks about both sides, whether you should pull off life support or whether you should just wait it out. I've worked in the medical field about close to 8 years now, and I've seen some bad situations with people don't respond, they can't talk, they can't use the bathroom on their own, they can't walk. I've seen people in vegetative states, and it's sad. I personally would not want that quality of life. I would want my life support to be discontinued. I understand there's a religious aspect to certain people for it, but I've just seen the worst situations of it, and I know how bad things can get, and after a while I've seen where family members don't visit their loved ones, but they don't let them go, but they don't want nothing to do with them either. But I guess that's such as nature. I could see the point of, especially if you're younger, I want to hold on. Or if you're close to a relative, I want to hold on. I don't want to let go. It's my personal opinion, sometimes you have to. And if that would ever happen to me, I feel like I would want to have release as well. This novel's not very one-sided. It gives pretty good points on both sides. Usually I've always been pro, I don't want to use the word euthanasia, but for the lack of a better term, making your own life choices. Or I'm not even sure if euthanasia is the right word, but I digress. But it does give both sides, very much so. I don't feel like it sways one way or the other. And honestly, it's not something, I'm very pro this, I'm very against this. Regardless of how you feel, it's very sad circumstances that lead to talk about life and death and medical care once you become incapacitated of basically any type of life functions. And it's just a hard decision to make. I feel like this novel has a very good, mature way of discussing it and not giving you, even at the end, doesn't give you a strong, you can still, there is a favor in the case that leads to the ultimate decision, but even at the ultimate decision, it doesn't say, oh, well, that was the best decision, or the other decision was the best decision, whether to keep them on life support or not. It's really up to you as the reader. I still hold my positions that after so long, sometimes I would want to be let go. I'll just put it that way. but I can see the other viewpoint now, more so, a little bit. It gave me some things to think about. I do highly recommend the book. This is the second book by Jodi Picoult I read. I think the first one I read was The 10th Circle. That was a very good novel as well. I haven't read any of her writing lately, so I was highly impressed with the novel. I very much enjoyed it. And if you are in a good mood for a good story that's not too heavy, it's heavy depending on how strong your emotions are, but I felt like it wasn't light, wasn't heavy, it was somewhere in the middle, and it was a very, I don't want to say enjoyable, the story was very good. The story was very good, the subject matter, not so much. So, that's basically my review for Lone Wolf by Jodi Picoult. I hope I'm saying that right. And the talk about euthanasia. I know I probably ranted a little bit or just kind of paused, like I tend to do that sometimes. Oh, the other thing, my New Year's resolution. So, I've moved down here and I haven't had access to the library for a long time, and I realize I haven't read a library book in a while, so my 2018 New Year's resolution is to read more books from the library and to check out and to support my local public library more this year than the years past. That's actually how I had started a little bit of a love for books, was at my local town's library, and I haven't been back to a library for a little while, so I'm hoping to pick that up again and to check out some books from there instead of just always purchasing novels or ebooks or something of that nature. So that's it for everything. I hope hopefully you guys had a good New Year, or if you watch this video a little later, hopefully you're having a good day if it's somewhere like mid-2018 or even later than that. I thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like and subscribe. Thank you guys. Bye.